Welcome to Pots, Pans, and Pioneers. Today I'm going to be making some apple pumpkin muffins. And this is going to have a streusel or a strudel on top. Or you could do a crumb top as well. But this is just the base of the muffin is what I'm going to demonstrate today. So I'm going to post the recipe on my website at potspansandpioneers.com. In this bowl right here, I have flour, sugar, salt, cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, pumpkin spice, and some organic cinnamon powder. This cinnamon that I like to use is not off the shelf in the store. I have to order it. It's from an organic farm out of India, and it's called Ceylon cinnamon powder, and it's actually safe for dogs. I know regular cinnamon is really highly toxic for dogs, but I love the texture of this cinnamon, and I'll put a link in the description of where I bought it. And I think they even sell it on Amazon. So what we're going to do is we're going to start, this is all of our dry ingredients in here. And what we're going to do is start to add the wet ingredients, and I can do that as we move along. Just to save time, I already started putting the stuff, together. So we're going to add to this, we're going to add a cup of pumpkin. Now, I'm using, just the organic pumpkin. Just the Great Value organic pumpkin. I don't know if you can see that really well. My kitchen's pretty dark in here, so I'm having to do an adjustable light. But just the organic, Great Value, not super expensive, nothing special. We're going to use a cup of it, or I'm just going to use half a can. Okay, so usually these 15-ounce cans are about a cup and a half to 2 cups. And I could shoot myself because I've got pumpkins sitting on the porch, right? And I could probably have already cooked them and used pumpkin in this from the porch. But okay, then we're going to add in 2 eggs. And these are room temperature. I just set them out right before I cooked dinner. And I'm in here after dinner making this, so they didn't set out that long, but just to where they get room temperature. Don't leave them out all day. It'd be bad. Unless you have unwashed, you have chickens in your yard. Okay, so we're going to add the 2 eggs, the cup of pumpkin. I love these because you don't have to add as you go as you're mixing. You could, but I don't. I just throw it all in there. I need a half a cup of vegetable oil. You could use canola, or I wouldn't use sunflower just because sunflower really doesn't, I don't think it's a good baking oil, but that's my opinion. I think that's about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to mix this up. Get my mixer on here. Let's get this mixed up. And you're going to want it to be, not like a cake mix. You don't want it super mixed, but you want to fold it together and make sure it's all incorporated. Baking is a science, right? It's what happened once it's in the oven. So we're just folding it in, making sure, it's in there really good. Other light. Okay, and I didn't have it on a high speed, I just used the first slot. Alright, so we're going to get our muffin tins. I'm going to use the extra large muffin tins I have because I'm going to an event in the morning. I'm going to a ladies event, and so I'm going to bring these with me and get some real testimony too. I love when I make stuff out of my grandmother's cookbooks, getting people's opinion. I'm not sure why, but I bring them to events just so I can see what they think. Maybe there's a way I could improve the recipe. So anyway, let's get our tins and we'll get these in the oven. Okay, so in my rush to get this done, I've forgotten the apples, most important ingredient. I don't know what's wrong with me. Anyway, so I've used my little chopper here and I've just chopped up, you know, some apples. Some of them didn't get chopped up, but we're going to use 1.5 to 2 cups of apples and just a rough chop because you want to really taste the apple in the muffin. Hopefully I've got them all chopped up. I see one. What a mess. Sorry about that. Sometimes the little chopper doesn't get them all. Okay, I'm gonna get all these in here. And we're just gonna fold the apples in. We'll just give this a couple of turns. Okay. And these are just chopped, peeled, and cored apples. And I'm using just a Granny Smith baking apple. You could use a delicious version. You could use any good baking apple. And if you're a subscriber on Bev's channel, you can use dehydrated apples if you choose to. I've done this with dehydrated apples. I've even added raisins and walnuts to this. I'm going to add 1.5 cups of walnuts, but I'm going to put a few in the muffin tin without nuts so that I can leave some for my husband in the morning. And then we're going to put walnuts in the rest of them because most people like walnuts when it comes to fall baking, and I don't think I have any ladies there that are have a nut allergy. So anyway, we'll be back. Let me get my pans and we'll get those filled up. Okay, so I've got my pans ready here and I'm using the extra large muffin tins here. Okay, so you could use smaller tins. I don't think it matters what, you know, what size particularly that you use. We have our oven preheated to 350, and you don't want to fill these to the brim because remember I've got baking powder in them and we don't need to have an explosion. Okay, there's three of them that don't have any nuts in there. I'm gonna get some walnuts. You can always, you know, make a batch without one. Get these in there. So on the big side, I bet this will make probably 9 to 10 extra large muffins. And I've just got to remember which side the walnuts are on. As I put them in the oven, I'm going to put the walnuts closest to me and the ones without walnuts to the back. That way I'll remember. Okay, now let's do the topping that goes on top. Okay, so I've got the strudel in this bowl, and it's just flour, sugar, butter, and cinnamon. And I've just cut the butter into the flour and sugar and cinnamon. And what I'm going to do is just drizzle this on top of each muffin. My bowl's kind of small, so if I run out of butter, I'm just going to cut in more butter. Improvise. And you don't have to get all over the entire muffin. I'm just drizzling it. It's just going to be, the butter's going to melt and the sugar and the flour and the cinnamon are going to stay on top. Okay. You could even add pecans on top. I mean, and this strudel, it's really yummy. Alright, non-walnut to the back, walnut to the front. I'm going to go put these in the oven. We're going to bake these for about, let me look at her card here, I think 35 to 40 minutes on 350. So make sure your oven's preheated nicely before you put this in, so that your times are correct, okay? So we'll get these in, and when they come out of the oven, we'll be back. Okay, it got really late last night, so I didn't film the muffins coming out of the oven. I packaged some up. I made 2 batches, but I'll show you. This is the smaller batch I made. I just did the cupcake liners on the bottom, and there's the streusel. Is it streusel or strudel on top? And I'm back from my ladies thing, and I only had 2 left out of the batch I brought. So let's see if I can get it in the camera. And these are full of walnuts, apples, and pumpkin. And there's some apple right here, and you know, full of pumpkin spice. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and certainly I hope you'll try this recipe. If you do try the recipe, come back and leave a review. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the recipe. I will post the recipe on potspansandpioneers.com, and I'll leave a link in the description. And here are the bigger ones real quick, because I have a giant muffin, so they're a little bit hardier. So we will see you on the next video. Everybody have a blessed week.